Welcome to East Mebon Temple. Also built in the 10th century by Rajendravarman, this temple was situated on a small island in the middle of the Oriental, or Eastern, Beret. It has all the characteristics of a mountain temple, but is accessible only by boat. The inscriptions found close to it show that Rajendravarman dedicated it to his parents. East Mebon is a large temple mountain-like ruin, rising 3 levels and crowned by 5 towers. Jayavarman IV, a usurper to the throne, moved the capital from Angkor to Khmer in 928 AD. 16 years later, Rajendravarman II returned the capital to Angkor and shortly thereafter constructed East Mebon on an island in the middle of the now dry eastern Beret. The temple is dedicated to Shiva in honor of the king's parents. Inscriptions indicate that it was also built to help re-establish the continuity of kingship at Angkor in light of the interruption when the seat of power had been moved to Khmer. There seems to be some scholarly debate about whether East Mebon should be categorized as a temple mountain. Inscriptions record activity at the temple as early as 947 AD, but East Mebon was not consecrated until 952 AD. You need to use quite a bit of imagination when visiting the East Mebon Temple. It's not that the temple is badly ruined. The imagination is needed to think of the temple as it originally existed, as an island in the middle of a large artificial lake, the Eastern Beret. When it was built, around 952, the East Mebon must have been quite impressive. The pyramidal structure consists of 3 concentric tiers crowned by 5 towers. It is a typical motif of many Angkor temples, which seek to represent Mount Meru, the location of the Hindu heaven. It must have been highly symbolic, rowing a boat across the lake to one of the temples for landings, then climbing up the tiers to pray at the shrines. On arriving at the temple, one of the first things you'll notice is the large elephants standing at each corner of the lowest tier. The elephants are carved from a single block of stone. Gateways in the center of each side lead up to the 2nd and 3rd platforms. It was realized during the reign of Yasovarman towards the end of the 9th century and supplied by waters from the Siem River. This vast reservoir served to regulate the flow of the river and to irrigate the surrounding plain is today given over to rice fields. To judge by the laterite steps that surround the small island of the Mebon, the original depth of water contained was approximately 3 meters, and its volume must have been some 40 million cubic meters. The Mebon has all the characteristics of a temple mountain, symbolizing Mount Meru. Here there is a 3-meter high central platform carrying the quinkings of towers. Originally, the Mebon temple stood on an island surrounded by the waters of the Eastern Beret, accessible only by boat. The center of the Beret was marked by this small island of 120 meters across on which the temple stands. The main entry pavilion of the Royal Palace and the Victory Gate of Angkor Thom were subsequently aligned along this axis. Several inscriptions found in the vicinity, as well as the foundation stele, dated 952, only 9 years before Pre-Rup Temple, describe the placing in the various sanctuaries of the Linga Sri Rajendresvara of several gods, notably Shiva and Parvati, in the likeness of the mother and the father of King Rajendravarman, in addition to Vishnu with Brahma. 8 linga of the god in 8 forms were also placed in the 8 small towers of the surrounding court. The Mebon belongs to a group of temples consecrated to the memory of deified parents. According to an inscription, the walls were originally covered externally with a lime-based plaster coating, as evident at Pre-Rup Temple, with the pitted hammer marks in the brickwork to adhere the stucco onto the towers, the only remaining evidence. Most lintels remain in place on this monument and are of excellent craftsmanship. On the central tower to the east, Indra on a 3-headed elephant with flights of figures disgorged by Makara, under a small frieze of figures in meditation. To the west, Skanda the god of war on his peacock with a line of figures holding lotus flowers, and to the south, Shiva on the sacred bull Nandan. Wait for Happy with East Mebon Story Part 2, please.